Oh shoot. Now we can really do it. Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, for a full year of it, it's expensive. What happened to my music? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. But it's been a lot of fun. So I think after I do boot.dev, I'm going to go to Mark Rober's Hack Pack as the next thing I want to buy, which is it's also kind of expensive. But it's fun. It's fun, and I'm learning, and I'm building a skill, and it gives me something to do while I wait to retire. Let's see. Can close that guy. Close this guy. All right, let's finish this since they added a bunch of new. Sorry. Let's clone this into World Bank 2. I will take all the XP I can get. Don't you guys look at my password. Ah, keep messing up the password. Hey, what's up, Mark? How are you? Thanks for holding it down in both places. I'm so tired this evening. My internet is being annoying also. It could be my internet too, so don't blame yourself. It could be me. But also, if you're tired, maybe you just need to call it a day and get some sleep. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. Let's see, cat stats.py. Does this have a sort? It does not. That's kind of annoying to have to go back and redo these projects. Okay, so okay. So we need to let's see. How do we do this? UV run main.py. Oh, path to the book. Let's see. What are our books? I'm guessing. What are we running this against? Work. What's the data analysis? Count of characters. Read file. This is about right. Frankenstein. So they want the word count and what? Hey, what's up, D? You want to buy a MacBook Pro for $3,100? Dude, Macs are crazy expensive. It's why I'm on Windows, you know? Macs are just, they're so expensive. Oh, Kayla, you got a lot of chores left to do, man. Dinner, shower. Dude, $3,100 is a lot of money. I would have buyer's paralysis as well. Mark, yo, Steven, when you were 23, what are you doing at that time? Sorry for questioning this. I'm looking for a way of life, I guess. Oh, yeah, no worries. I'm happy to share. Let's see, at 23, let's see, I got married on April 25th of 2015. So I had just graduated, or I was just getting ready to graduate college. So I graduated college. So I got married on I turned 23 on April 21st. I got married on April 25th of 2015. And then I graduated college in May. And so at 23, I was newly married. I had a small personal training gym that I had opened with a friend of mine. I was working as a medical scribe, and I was spending all my time basically either hanging out with my wife or trying to figure a way to make personal training successful and to make our business successful. And then I was also working like 30 hours a week as a medical scribe in the ER. So I would usually personal train Monday through Friday, usually from like 6 o'clock to about 10 o'clock. And then I'd usually have clients again from about 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And that was usually Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I would typically work in the ER. And that shift would be either like 7 to 5, it would be like 7 to 5 or 10 to 8 overnight or 10 to 7 overnight or 11 to 11, something like that. And then one night a week during the week, Monday through Friday, Tuesday nights, I would work overnight. So everybody, sort of all the scribes we all agreed that we would all work at least an overnight shift a week. So my overnight shift was on Tuesdays, and I would work 10 to 7, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I pretty much did that um, until about November of 2016. No, until November. So that was from like April. That was from like April when I turned 23 till about November. And then, let's see, the rest of that year, November, the scribe job got eliminated. They laid a bunch of people off in November. I was still personal training, but by then we had found out that my wife was pregnant, and that's when I decided to go and get a job at Ajinomoto as a food scientist. And then my son was born that next July. So that would have been July of 2016. So yeah, I was just kind of starting my life in a way, my post collegiate life. Working out a lot. Yeah, it was good. Hey, what's up, 199? Good to see you. It is a blast for the past. I currently spend $250 to $30 per month on GPUs for my machine learning experiments and work, so it would pay for itself in about 2 years, since it would reduce my cloud spend. Yeah, I guess that's a true statement, D. As long as the capabilities of your machine continue to remain what you need to do your experiments. You know what I mean? So that might be just something to think about. Like, is there a potential in a year's time that things have progressed in that world to where the hardware you bought today is no longer what you need? You know? And then do you end up going back to renting and paying a cloud bill? I think that's something to think about, you know?
MRK_Manansala is telling you to drink some coffee.
Thank you very much. I just spin up Azure VMs. That's one way to do it. Free cloud bill as a student. Nice, dude. Dude, the students have the hookup. The students have got the hookup. I like it. What were we doing again? Sorry, I completely got sidetracked. So I'm trying to finish this lesson that they just added. Okay, maybe I'll come back and do this another morning. But yeah, I don't know why they do that. No, I don't want to reset course progress, but I do want to go back and get that lesson. Okay, let's build a static site generator. This is the Tolkien Fan Club. Man, do boot.dev has networking related stuff? Do they also accept non-credit or debit card payments? I don't know about the payments, and I don't here. We can look at the courses. I think they have two primary paths that are a lot of people use, which is the backend developer path, and then they have this DevOps path. They just added a custom feature where you can build your own path if you want from their courses. But they have all kinds of stuff. Let's see if they have anything networking related. I mean, they've got learning HTTP servers in TypeScript and Go, which would be helpful. It's not really, I mean, I guess you could say that's not really networking, but it's somewhat related. Let's see if there's anything else on here. Looks like they've got some stuff on AWS, CloudFront, and CDNs. Again, that's could be argued it's not really networking related. Yeah, I wouldn't say networking's a big focus, it looks like, just going through their course catalog. It's much more focused on kind of back-end developer type of stuff. I should learn Get Better. Kind of embarrassing how basic I am at it. I'm pretty basic at it though too, Dota. I'm not anything to write home about, you know. I use like 4 main commands, right? Like git add, git commit, git log, and occasionally I rebase, you know. So, but I think if you're on bigger projects, working with more people, you probably have to get a little bit more sophisticated, right? You probably encounter trickier scenarios maybe than what you do when you're developing alone or just in a small team of people. Git merge, I do, yeah, I guess git merge I do. But most of the time I'm just merging a PR from. Usually I do that remotely. But yeah, there's not a lot of command. I don't use a lot of the commands either. I think the vast majority of people probably don't, you know. Good morning, Aaron Jones. I don't know what your as a learning platform. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I need to learn more. We all need to learn more. Doing that I need. Yeah, I usually just use this. But git diff's a good one. I don't even rebase, scares me too much. Rebase is scary, and I have definitely borked a couple branches doing that. There's actually a crazy PR out there on the internet somewhere. Someone can dig it up. But if you go look at the Azure JavaScript SDK repo, there's a PR open from me where I borked I tried to rebase a branch on top of on top of something I shouldn't have, and then it basically pulled in like a ton of unnecessary commits and kicked off all this like workflow GitHub Actions workflow automation, and one of the maintainers had to come in and like cancel the PR and close it to get the automation to stop running crazy or whatever. So I mean, I think it's like a rite of passage to like fuck things up with rebase. But I think the one thing you have to remember with rebase is just don't ever rebase a branch that contains commits that other people have, right? That's kind of like the goal. That to me, that's the golden rule. It's like don't if you're on a branch and you have changes that you've committed and other people are working on top of those changes already, you should not rebase any of those commits. Other than that, as long as the branch you want to rebase has only been, you know, in your hands and only you have the commits that have gone on top for that particular branch, then you should be fine. But it is very much a foot gun. I will agree. What does the rebase do? It's a way to try to help keep your commit history more linear instead of having You know, if you look at people who use merge, git merge for their main branch, you'll always see if you look at their ref log or their git log, you'll see all these merges, like merge this branch into merge this feature branch in, and so you don't really necessarily get to see all the like detailed commits. And so a lot of people like to have more of a linear Git history where they can actually see the individual changes that were made by each successive branch. And so Git base basically allows you to constantly move your commits to the top on top of whatever your I'm gonna say whatever your main branch is, but whatever your primary development branch is, so that it looks like it has a linear history to it. There's people make arguments for why rebasing is better than merging and why merging is. I've heard people make arguments in both cases. I think it's probably dependent on like your team and their workflow and what's important to you and what's not important to you. But it is nice when you look at somebody who has a very linear Git history. It is kind of nice to be able to just like read through the log and you see the evolution of the code, and you can actually look at each individual commit on that. Some people think it's too noisy. I think it's just all personal taste. You can also get squash. I don't use Git squash like at all, but I know some people do. I think there's a developer where I work that uses it quite a bit. I'm working with a small team, and there's multiple times we are getting rebase loop. Mainly, we always commit to each other branches. Yeah, that's it. It can if you guys are. That's why it's always just about, because when you rebase, you're not actually like you're not moving the existing commits on top. You're actually replacing the commit. So the hash of that commit actually changes when you rebase. So that's the reason why you don't want to rebase commits that other people have, because they're counting on that hash, right, in their history. And so your histories are going to diverge if you do that. But I understand why Git rebase has traumatized so many people. Because it's traumatized me too. Yes, exactly what Kale said. So what Kale said is the exact right scenario. And so if you've got commits that are only yours and nobody else's, then I would do what Kale just suggested, is I would always, before I open a PR, I would always rebase, assuming nobody's taken my commits, but assuming they've all stayed on my local machine and only I've worked on it, I would rebase on top of whatever the target branch I'm merging to. Instead of merging, because a lot of people's workflow is they'll merge main back into their local branch and then, right? But I would much rather rebase my local on top of main and then open the PR. I know. Only add remote repo link, git add, git commit, git push. That's it. I mean, that's kind of all you need. If it's just you, you're golden. I love melons. You're golden. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Way more intuitive. 100%. I think just a lot of people mess up. They mess up the first couple of times they use git rebase, and then they're forever like they got burned. It's like, it's hot. Damn, that burned. I'm never doing that again. 199. I explained the boot.dev thing. Go for it, man. You're welcome to explain boot.dev if you'd like to. Do you prefer Azure, GCP, or AWS as a cloud platform? I don't really use any of them. The only ones I have experience with are Azure and AWS. I haven't really done much with GCP. I haven't ever worked at a cloud shop before, so unfortunately, that has not been any work experience that I've had. I liked Azure and AWS when I used them. However, my usage of them was very simple. You know, like Azure, I used their app service plan quite a bit. AWS, I used a couple of their managed services. But the reason why I'm kind of not a big, uh, I guess, cloud user is the pay as you go, like pricing model scares me, right? Like I don't want to. I don't want to get hit with a big bill, and it's kind of annoying because all of them, or at least the last time I used Azure and AWS, none of them will let you spend. None of them will let you set a cost budget that's a hard limit. They all let you set a cost budget that sends you an alert, but none of them actually like will just turn your services off when you've exceeded that cost limit. And that's what I like. That's what I'd rather have. Like I would rather have my stuff crash than rack up like a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 bill for some reason. Like you see those horror stories of people who, well, what the most recent one, it was the guy who built the Jeffrey Epstein like Gmail clone, and he racked up a huge Vercel bill. Like that kind of stuff scares me. So I just use my own VPSs and deploy to those, and don't have to worry about being hit with a real expensive bill. Got slapped in the face. Yeah, but the outlandish bill is too scary. Though the large companies with traffic on Azure plus AWS touching the ops things is terrifying as a dev. I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, you don't want to break anything. Yeah, Kale, I haven't ever used S3 myself. I know a lot of people talk about it, but I've never really used it. People always say it's cheap storage, but then when I look at it, I'm like, I don't want to pay anything. You know what I mean? But I understand in some use cases that's probably not feasible to not pay anything. I fell asleep and left a GPU running once. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, the big bill scares me, man. I ran websites on AWS and Azure multiple times. Just have to check the bill daily when changing things. Yeah, see, but I don't want that anxiety. I don't. That's too much. You know what I mean? Like I don't want the anxiety. Like the my financial well-being is one of the most important things to me. So having any thought that like there's something over there running that's charging me money and I don't know how much money it might end up charging me, it's not compatible with my personality. Yeah, the free credits, that's what lure you in. That's what got me too. Yeah. I run timed VMs, so they don't charge. Oh, interesting. Timed VMs. I haven't heard of those. Yeah, I just remember the last couple times I used Azure and AWS. I have budgets set up, but like none of them are hard budgets. But maybe they changed that. Maybe now they will actually shut your services down if you exceed. But that's my ideal functionality. Is I want something that says, hey, if I spend more than $10 on any of your services, just shut everything down. I know you can do it on Azure. You can budget it and have it stop. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. That's what you need. Is you need that. You need that functionality would make me have much more warm and fuzzies about using a cloud provider. All right, what are we doing now? We need to create a test sh file. And then we need to create some sort of test file, which is going to be populated with this stuff. Add even more test cases, at least 3 in total, to check various edge cases. like when the URL property is none or when the text type property is different, you want to make sure that when properties are different, the text node objects are not equal. Okay. What do you want me to call that file? Test text node. Real original. Okay. And then let's try to run our Good morning, Rockin' Brain. Good to see you. Okay, well, it's stopped. Deallocated, not actually stopped. Well, yeah, as long as I just want it into the whatever state makes it so that it doesn't charge. You know what I mean? So that's good to know. If I ever have need for something that's a little bit more robust than my little VPS, then maybe Azure is the right cloud for me. Let's see, this would be cool. So now we got to add more tests. And let's add 3 more tests. So test test not equal if type is different. Actually, I'm going to write it like this. Def equals when type is different, it should not be equal. That's a long test name, but I don't care. I come from the .NET space. We're not afraid of long method names. Let's do this. Copy paste. So we're checking for if type is different. So let's do type link. And assert not equal. And then we'll rerun. Okay, why didn't that work? Oh, do I have to prepend it with test? Is that a Python thing? Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Fair enough. When text is different, it should be not equal. And we'll do vi this is different. And then the last one, we'll check if they have different URLs. When URL is different, let's see, HTTPS boot.dev. Cool. I gotta shave, man. I just realized that. I do not use Azure Automation. I do a little bit of PowerShell scripting, not a ton of it. Hey, Arvin, what's up, man? Hope you enjoy your lunch. It's a good sound. Alright, now we need an HTML node. Next, we need a way to represent HTML nodes. create a new file called html_node.py. I'm going to move this off to the side so I can look at my code and the assignment at the same time. Do it over here. Alright, so we're going to create an html_node.py in the source directory. Define a class HTML node. In it, the HTML class should have 4 data members set in the constructor. Okay. We should probably follow some test-driven development here, right? Test HTML node.py class def. I'm just going to copy this guy. Import that. Okay, right? So let's say test tag it should return. So then we should be able to say node equals HTML node, and it should have, let's see. Actually, I'm just going to say test. It should have required properties. Or field. What do we call them? Data members. New HTML node. It's going to be a tag. It's going to need a value. Some children and some props. So children, props. A child equals text node. And we'll do text type. It's going to be plain. So this will be a list. This will be a dictionary. And then we should be able to say, did I just pull up my headphones again? I guess let's actually do props. What's this? Tag equals tag. Value equals value. Oops. Dude, that's going to be one thing with all the AI coding that's going on. I'm guessing everyone's going to become a slow typer. And then we'll do node dot, how do we do assertions? Self dot assert, because we passed in the test case, okay. So self dot assert, and this needs to have self. Self dot assert, they are equal, node dot tag should be equal to tag. I wonder how this works for they have special methods for this. assert list equal, assert dict equal. It kind of sounded like I didn't say the right word there. I said dict. Dict with a T. Okay, why are they complaining? Oh, because I have these swaps. You dick. Should be less. Okay, so now we go implement it. So now we need HTML node.py. And we'll say class HTML node. Like that. And then we need a constructor. Def. There we go. And then we need self.tag. We need the tag from here. That would be a string. We need a value. It's a string. What were the other things? Children. That's a list of something. I guess a list of HTML nodes. Or a list of self. And then props, which is just going to be a dictionary. Okay, that equals tag. Value. And then we have children. Set equal to children. Props equal to props. Does not like that I imported that. Oh, it's probably can't resolve it because I haven't activated a source. Do that over here too. It is very weird writing Python. It's what we have to do to earn our Archmage coin, man. We're taking one for the team, you know? We're taking one for the team. We'll get back to other things. We're going to be doing Go here in a bit, actually. Or actually, we're going to be doing C. Not C sharp, but C. That's the next course, which is pretty crazy. Hello, Buffer Ghost. Nice to see you. Oh, you like Python? Nice. Yeah. Well, you can probably teach me a thing or two. C sharp for the win. I agree, Smashing Viking. C sharp for the win. Type race me, Steven. Okay, so apparently I didn't read all the requirements here. So this says actually, let's see. I'm going to change the test name test. It should have properties. Oh yeah. So this would be this, and then def test. It should not require any properties. Basically, we should be able just to say node equals HTML node, and then I guess self.assert is not none. So they should all be optional. Okay, why are we still complaining? Argument of type list HTML node or none cannot be assigned to parameter list one of type any in assert. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so is there like what if I do self.assert is not none, node.children? Does that help at all? Nope, it does not. Okay, I don't know enough about this type. Python self.assert list equal strongly typed list that can be none. Okay, so how do I then... How do I assert something is not none? Unit test dot test case self.assert list equal. Huh. So if this was not none, we'd be able to test that, I guess. Assert that it's not none before the actual test. Okay. That doesn't seem to work though. Huh. I agree. People aren't going to be able to type anymore. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so many skills in our world are use it or lose it. Not that doesn't mean you can't get the skill back. It's just if you don't spend much of your time typing, right, that skill starts to decay some extent, right? So I would imagine the more people prompt to write code, the slower the typer they will be over time. I could be wrong, but I would imagine. Okay, I don't understand how to fix the... I mean, I know it's not a real... Yeah, I mean, they're going to pass. It's just a diagnostic from the type hitting that's causing this. But I don't know how to get rid of it. Let's see if Gemini does. Yeah, I think I'm using Pyrite. So this says the type checker knows there was. It gave me the same thing you told me to do. Assert is not none. So that's wrong because that does not work. Okay, what if I... So what if I just type hint this? I wonder if that will work. No. It's the signature of the assertion. Okay, what if I do that? Then you're happy. Okay, what if I do... What if I do a hard assert? Like this. Assert no.children is not none. There we go. Now everybody's happy.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, average person. Thank you very much for the follow. It's very kind of you. Okay. And then I guess we could also do, instead of this, we could do assert is none. Tag. Value. Children. Wonderful. Okay. Add a to HTML method. And what should that do? For now, it should just raise a not implemented error. Okay. So we should have node equals HTML node. And then we should say, how do you say something should raise? Let's see, unit test case should raise. So we use a context manager and we say with self.assert raises.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hey, thanks for becoming a member, Kale. That is way too kind. Way too generous. Not necessary, but thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Hello, Victor. Good to see you. We are writing Python. Yeah, we're doing, you can't see it, I'm working my way through boot.dev. I'm going to become an Archmage. So far, it's been pretty fun. I'm at level 58, so I'm Scholar Steven right now. But eventually, I will become Archmage Steven. It's been fun. Dota, I don't know about these tests. Not very behaviory. You are testing a data structure. Oh, that's fair. Totally valid critique. I'm just trying to get in the habit of writing the test and then adding the implementation. We can always remove the tests we deem not worthy. I don't very much argue with people about the intellectualness of tests. I think a lot of people make testing way more complicated and intellectual than it needs to be. Like, you need to write tests. Bad tests are better than no tests. You can always make your tests better. You can always delete tests and add tests that are better. But the whole thing of there's so many developers who'll be like, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a very good test. It's not testing anything. How would we even test that? I think a lot of developers make a lot of excuses for not writing tests. Add a props to HTML method. It should return a formatted string representing the HTML attributes of the node. Okay. Oh, we need to go add that. Although I write the test, but I want it to be good. Yeah, I mean that's fine to want it to be good. I just think there's a lot of developers who will use those excuses of like, what makes a good test? What's our testing framework? What's our testing strategy? It's like, I don't know, bro. You wrote the code. You need to write some tests to assure that whatever the fuck you wrote does whatever the fuck it should do. If you're not testing your code, you're making it somebody else's fucking problem. A lot of making excuses dev can be simply mocked with temp dev. Mark, yes, in my team they don't, but I do care about it somehow. Yeah, it's hilarious. Developers who never write tests, the minute you start having a conversation about writing tests, they have all these opinions and all these feelings and all these intellectual thoughts, and it's like, bro, don't even start with me. Like, don't. You just like to talk people to death to get out of doing it. Hello, Network Bib. Good to see you. Transforms a link to an href tag. That's totally fair. I mean, your criticism's totally fair. It's just I'm of the mindset and I'm of the belief that I will take a shitty test or a bad test over no test any day of the week. Give me all the tests. I've been TDDing for 5+ years now. I'd be viewed as a dogmatic by most. Well, that's awesome. Hey man, I will take a dogmatic TDD person over the guy who doesn't think you need tests any day of the week. So that's awesome. Yes, in this AI era, testing is essential. Yeah, it seems like maybe AI could have a positive impact on the state of quality, or at least in the state of testing. Maybe quality is not the right word. A positive effect on the state of testing, right? Because a lot of these harnesses are built around the idea that like you can give the agent feedback, and tests are a great way to do that, for sure. Victor, I mean, in my opinion, it's valid to think about testing plans long term, but in a commit scope, just write guardrail tests on your changes, man. Yeah. I mean, it's fine to have conversations about test plans and big, grand architectural visions, right? But like at the end of the day, you just need a way to verify that what you think something does actually does it. And if you're not the one writing the automation to do it, you're making it somebody else's problem, right? Like I don't know what person wants to write code and then forever be responsible for manually verifying the functionality that code supports every time you make a change in the code base. The only people who are in favor of that are people who don't have to test it. Right? It's somebody else's problem. Those are the only people who are in favor of that. Also, if you go look at my LinkedIn, you'll know I have a very biased opinion about this. I have strong feelings about it because I live it every day. I think we should use an agile framework to storyboard the testing framework. Exactly, dude. I mean, I'm sorry. That shit just drives me crazy. It just drives me crazy. You know? You got like a code base with thousands of lines of code and 5% test coverage, and you want to start having a conversation about, I don't know, what's the right testing strategy? What's the right test framework? I don't know, bro. Just start adding tests. You'll sort it out. Like, it's fine. You did not write all those thousands of production lines of code with a clear architecture and strategy. I know you didn't. So stop trying to put unnecessary expectations or obstacles to writing tests. Just write the test. Put the tests in the bag. For what it's worth, I'd have a two-string method on your HTML node and test against that. You are essentially testing against the innards of your data structure at the moment. That's totally fine, man. Yeah, totally fine. It's a great point too, because the next things they're going to have me do is add an HTML method, add a props to HTML method, and so then once we add tests for those methods, we could delete some of the tests that I've already written. I can see why people get annoyed by Agile working in traditional Agile now, because it's almost entirely about project management. I mean, project management though is good. I mean, the thing is, if you've ever worked with like a good project manager, I mean, regardless of if it's software or something else, great project management is very value add. But a lot of people are not very good project managers. That's a pretty funny analogy you used on the electrician and the wiring. It's a good one. As long as it returns what you need, we're good. Yeah. How many storyboard points is it? Yeah, exactly. Can you estimate? Dude, don't even get me started on story points. I will fucking rail on story points for a long time. When in doubt, hit F11. Good to see you, Tookie. Hello, good to see you. What is your opinion on using debugging over testing or combining both, like a debugger? Oh, I love debugging tests. That's actually so that's actually the key piece of my workflow. That's actually the key piece of my workflow that I didn't know if I could do in NeoVim, and that's what kept me from using NeoVim for a very long time. Was because I like to write tests, and then when stuff doesn't work, I like to use the test harness to debug into the code that isn't working. That's a really nice way to work through solving an issue without having necessarily to fire up the whole application, right? Or create some sort of sidecar, right, to like call the little bit of code that you want to work through and debug. It's so much easier to author a test that reproduces the issue or the non-issue or whatever it is that you're looking at, and then step through that. Use the test code, the test harness to step through the production code. 10 out of 10, man. 10 out. I don't know how people don't work that way. It's probably because they don't write tests. Very hardcore TDDers either don't use the debugger at all or extremely minimal compared to standard use. Huh? I love the debugger. I love debugging tests. Big fan. Huge fan. Do you still get the bad habit of designing your Python solutions like .NET ones? I'm sure I do. I don't write much Python, so I'm sure my .NET thinking bleeds into Python. It probably bleeds into a lot of things. Right now I'm just trying to do what boot.dev is telling me to do. So I'm not really applying any of my own solutions. I'm just following their instructions and doing the implementation. But 100%, I'll bet if you look at my Go code, or if you look at my Rust code, or if you look at anything I've written, or TypeScript, I bet you'll look at it and probably be like, yeah, this guy writes C# too. The idea behind no debugger allowed is that if the code is simple enough and the testing good enough, it's not needed. I found this to be largely true and extremely good code. Unfortunately, most code sucks. Yeah, I don't know. I personally love it, man. I started doing it, or I developed that workflow in my own personal projects, but now it's kind of the only way I investigate things too at work. I just, writing a test to reproduce the behavior, reproduce the state, and then debugging through it. To me, that's OP, but doesn't have to be for everybody. I've been writing Python Rust full time for 8 months now, and I get blasted in code reviews sometimes. Well, hopefully people are kind when they're blasting you, you know? I hope you don't work in a place where people just like are purposely mean, you know? Hopefully people's intentions are good. Developers can be just very superior. They can act very superior for very arbitrary and stupid reasons. So hopefully that's not what you're experiencing. Is empty. I used to make very complicated data structures, looping structures that were impossible to edit without the debugger enabled. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. I've always found debuggers very helpful, even in simple code. I just think, for me, I don't have the whatever type of brain or whatever level of intelligence you need to be able to hold the entire execution path and state in your head and then think about that state. I just have never been me. I like to be able to visually step through and see things change and what goes wrong and set breakpoints, and the debugger is my friend. But he doesn't have to be your friend, you know. You don't have to like the debugger. It's okay. Nobody has to. No, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, except, I guess, die and pay taxes, as Benjamin Franklin said. Was it Benjamin Franklin who said that? Death and taxes? Who said this? Yeah, Benjamin Franklin said that. Even though there are good reasons for not using a debugger, I use it very often and don't think much of it, but I do understand the arguments in the other direction. I think the most important thing is checking your progress against a test rather than the entire application. I like that. That last sentence you said, I like that a lot. I mean, I understand there's definitely a need for like end-to-end validation. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely a need for that, but at the same time, like, yeah, I'm a big believer in automated testing. Not everybody is, and most people that aren't a believer in it aren't the ones who have to do the testing, in my experience. All right, what am I doing? I'm writing a not implemented method. Def or a to HTML that throws in not implemented. To HTML takes in self. Do people type self? Is that a thing people do in Python? Or is that overkill? Pythonic devs in chat to disagree. Yeah, I was like, who? I don't know. I don't know what you do. The Python world is a foreign place to me, a strange and foreign land. Okay, so we go def props to HTML. I mean, it seems like if you're gonna take the type hinting seriously, you might as well like go all out with it. Okay, it should return a formatted string representing the HTML attributes of the node. For example, if self.props is href target, then props to HTML should be href. Okay. Okay, I think I see what you're saying here. Notice the leading space character before href and before target. This is important. HTML attributes are always separated by spaces. If self.props is none or empty, return an empty string. Okay, so this would be for prop in self.props. We need to build up a string. Does Python have something like a string builder? Python string builder. Okay, so we collect them in a list and then combine them. Let's see. What do I want to call this? I guess, for lack of a better way, I'm just going to say result and then do return dot join result. Okay, and then we will say result.append is going to be a formatted string where the key is there and self.props goes here. Prop. Oh, I need to check. If self.props is none, what does it say to do? Just an empty string. I should have wrote the test first, but we'll do that now. Okay, so we'll say def test to props to HTML when called and props empty or props done, it should return empty string. I wonder, node equals HTML node, results equals node dot props to HTML.
MRK_Manansala is reminding you to hydrate.
Thank you, sir. Wait, so we write a test before doing things? We're supposed to. That's the TDD way. So Dota 2, the diehard believers, right, is like you implement, you write the test, you run the test, it goes red, then you do the implementation just enough to make it pass, right? Just enough to make it pass. You just go through that loop again. Write the test, red, write enough to make the test pass, run the test, you know what I mean? Just like, I don't know, Mark, if you were here when we were learning Learn Go with tests, we did that. We went through a very hardcore TDD flow like that. That's the proper way. I'm not perfect, though. At all. By any means. I started with Python at uni. We used self a lot, but I don't know about on the job. Okay, that's good enough. Learn PHP next, please. We could take a stab at PHP at some point. Oh, the self one. Ask AI about it. We could do that. It's not a bad idea at all. Yeah, exactly what Dota said. Hey, Oblivion, run away from PHP. Okay, on class methods, the convention is to use CLS and self is used conventionally for instance methods. If I wanted, I could use self for class methods and CLS for instance methods. And I could also use car.x. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Mark, it was a joke. We could. I mean, I'm open to learning any programming language. I think you always learn something from learning a new language. You know, it helps you develop your taste and I think intuition about things. And it's interesting to see how different communities think about things differently. I think. How do I say equals? Assert equal. Why is that not here? Self.assert equal. So result should equal empty string. Interval. And then let's take def test props to HTML when called with props. It should return in proper format. Something like that. So then we'll do node equals HTML node, and this should be props, and then this gave us an example of href being equal to http www.google.com or target underscore blank. So that would mean if we call results result equals node dot props to HTML, then our expectation would be self dot assert, and we would assert that the result should be equal to href equals I wonder, this may not work because aren't keys in a dictionary in Python random? Like every time you loop over them, they could be different in different order. Let's see. Let's do this, right? href and then target equals underscore blank. This is actually going to fail because I just realized I have a bug in my code. We're not putting in the quotes around the value. But I don't think this will always pass. Oh, whoops. I'm also going to do this. So Python iterating over Python dictionary keys non-deterministic. I think Go is this way too. Dictionary order is guaranteed to be insertion order. Iterating over a dictionary will always yield keys in the exact order they were added. Huh, I don't know where I got that. I thought Python. Let me ask Gemini. What languages randomize key orders in dictionaries / objects when iterating? I'm pretty sure Go does it. Do you know the acronym zombies? I have never heard that acronym before. Class methods equal static methods. Instance methods are non-static. I think that's a true statement. Applies here. 0, 1, we are here. Many, boundaries, interfaces, exceptions, simple scenarios, simple solutions. I like it. Simple scenarios, simple solutions. Let's see, your end results here would be very similar to my own TDD. I think your steps are too big, which may be why you start with the production code first as well. Like my first test doesn't compile, I'm just writing an interface, then throwing a compile error, then returning whatever is the simplest step. That makes sense. Yeah, that sounds very much like the proper way to do TDD. Simple scenarios, simple solutions equals end-to-end type tests that may test multiple things at a high level. I like it. I like that approach. Hello, Block. Good to see you. How are you? So Go has that behavior. Perl has that behavior. Rust has that behavior. Swift has that behavior. Some languages introduced hash randomization for security, but eventually changed their user-facing behavior to preserve insertion order. Oh, set objects still exhibit arbitrary run randomized iteration order for strings and bytes. Interesting. That's one that you could definitely shoot your foot with. So sets are randomized when you're iterating over them in Python, but dictionaries are not. That's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Did we do everything here? Let's see. We did the props. We did the to HTML. We need to add a repr method. Give yourself a way to print an HTML node object and see its tag, value, children, and props. This will be useful for your debugging. Create some tests for the HTML node class, at least 3. I used a new file called source. Create a few nodes. Make sure the props HTML method works as expected. Okay, we've done that. We have a few tests. So we need to add that method. So let's define def and I'm just going to stick with the made-up convention of typing self. And then we need to return a formatted string, and we'll call this HTML node. I wonder is there a way in Python you can, in like C# you could do something like this, right? You could say name of HTML node. Let's see, Python get name class as string. Okay, cool. So you can do HTML node. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and then we can do self.tag, self.value, self.children, and self.prompts. We can also update our other node kind of a similar way. We can say, instead of doing that, we can say text node dot. And we should, I guess, repr and called, it should return expected representation. Let's see. Be node equals HTML node. Let's grab how do I, let's see, probably don't have to add a test for this, but so be it. Oh, there's a built-in function to do that. So someone thought of it. Oh, that's a good idea. I should probably add. Did I do that in the text node? No, I didn't do that in the text node. I guess I'll just rely on remembering what they are. So that will be, we can just copy this. Whoops. My Vim foo is still weak. 18 months in and I still haven't mastered it. Success. All right, I think we completed that one. Let's make sure it runs okay. And we'll do -s. Whoops, sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys. The representation methods. How many tests have we broken? So far, we haven't broken any. It's good to see you, Victor. You can randomize equal set dick whatever. Ah, interesting. I was more of why I brought up the randomization thing was because I was worried that in this method I was going to end up with different strings depending on the order of the keys, but I guess in Python that's not a thing when you're dealing with a dictionary. So that's good. I didn't even know that was the thing in languages until it started happening in Go to me, and I couldn't figure out why I was having bugs in my Go code. And then I found out that Go randomizes iterating over keys. So that was very interesting thing to learn. How did you add so much behavior and not break any? Because I didn't have any tests for the behavior to begin with. I violated Kent Beck's doctrine. What are you gonna do? Alright, now we have to build a leaf node. Let's see, a leaf node is a type of HTML node that represents a single HTML tag with no children. For example, a simple p tag with some text inside it. We call it a leaf node because it's a leaf in the tree of HTML nodes. It's a node with no children. In this example, p is not a leaf, but the emphasis or the bold tag. Create a child class of HTML node called leaf node. Its constructor should differ slightly from the HTML node class because it should not allow for any children. Both the value and tag data members should be required, even though the tag's value can be none. While props can remain optional like the HTML node constructor. Use the super function to call the constructor of the HTML node class. Add a toHTML method that renders a leaf node as an HTML string by returning a string. So the leaf node has no value. It should raise a value error. All leaf nodes must have a value. If there's no tag, the value should be returned as raw text. Otherwise, it should render an HTML tag. Okay, for example, these leaf nodes. Okay. I guess I probably need I need to go back and reference. They gave us a reference thing with all the stuff we were going to have to implement. I should have bookmarked it. Cheat sheet. So we need to support HTML headings, markdown headings, HTML paragraphs, markdown, HTML bold, markdown, bold, italics. Okay. Okay, we shall keep going. I've written 5, 6 languages professionally. Once you get used to picking them up, it's easy to get to the 80% good working code level pretty quickly. That's impressive. 5 or 6 languages. Yeah, dude, that's super impressive. Yeah, and I would I don't know that many languages, nor have I written that many languages professionally, but I would agree that the more you learn, the easier it is to pick up the next one. No boot.dev day. That's what we're doing, Victor. But we're doing boot.dev, but we're doing a course where we're on our own local dev setup, building something. We're building. Eventually, what this is going to be is a static site generator. Is what they're having us build right now. Hello, Filthy Potato. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I'm guessing you're up and at 'em this morning, making your way to work, making your, what is it, a 2-hour commute or an hour commute? It's crazy. You're one tough son of a bitch. I don't think I could do a commute like that, man. Oh, we off today. Let's go, gang, gang. Love the commute photos. I mean, if you had if you had to have a commute, Filthy Potato has a very pretty looking commute. You know, my commute, if I had a commute, would just be concrete and highways and flat grass fields for however long I have to drive. Oh, it's your birthday. Nice, dude. Happy birthday. Should we sing happy birthday to you? Everyone types one word in the happy birthday song. That's awesome, dude. Independence Day holiday? Yes, it is. Yeah, Independence. Independence Day is July 4th for the US. So that's when we celebrate it. I guess technically Independence Day is some other day. Like I've heard, is it July 2nd? Uh, July 4th, not US Independence Day. So July 2nd was the date that the founders or the US founders voted to approve the resolution for separation. But July 4th is the day the Continental Congress formally adopted it. But yeah, we're gonna blow up. You know, Americans, we celebrate our independence by consuming a lot of alcohol and playing with explosives. I like the happy birthday letters. That's awesome. Do you have any big plans, Filthy Potato, or did you get yourself anything cool for your home lab for your birthday? The U.S. founders. See, U.S. founders. See, we were in founder mode before founder mode was ever a thing. That's funny. Good to see you, David. Hope you're doing well. Okay. All right. I need to build a leaf node. Not a lead node, a leaf node. I'll do that over here. Oh, no, we're gonna do that. Over here, we're gonna do class leaf node test inherits from unit test dot test case def test something self. And over here we have class leaf node. This inherits from HTML node. Def init. Oh, that was a nice little snippet. Def. Yeah, that's a great one. And I guess we have the answer. That snippet typed itself, so maybe it is idiomatic to do that. I have no idea. I'm okay with it. I'm all for typing. Okay, so you should not actually take children. And I don't think it should allow props. It should not allow any children. Both the value and tag data members should be required, while props can remain optional. Okay, so this is required. This is required. The value can be none. The props is optional, and then I guess the children will just pass an empty array to it. I guess I should probably go back and alright, and then what else do we have here? This. We did that, we called the super function, which is great. And then we need to define a toHTML method. Def toHTML. We do not want to call super. Let's just return nothing for now. And we will test. How do people refer to this method? Do they call it a constructor, or does Python call it something different? What do Pythonistas call dunder init? I think I'm just gonna call it constructor. Damn, Steven, you even got children in your code. Once you're a dad, you're a dad for life, man. You know, it's fatherhood. I didn't get myself anything. My wife got me things, and they are spread out through the house. Nice, dude. Anything cool? Anything that you were like super excited when you got it? Constructor, when called, it should I don't know if that's really something I need to test. I guess I can add a test. I think I have to write a certain number. Okay, so let's do toHTML when called and leaf has no value. It should return, or it should raise value error. You guys like that method? Doesn't even fit on the screen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's almost like, how can I shorten this? When leaf no value, it should raise value error. There you go. I made it a little shorter. I don't know how you write descriptive test names without them being long. Okay, so we'll do node equals leaf node. I'm in junior year of high. We are also starting with Python, but what they are teaching us, I already know. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, you can still just follow along, you know. Use it as practice. I'm not a big Python guy, but that's what boot.dev teaches, so here we are. So if the leaf node has no value, it should raise a value error. All leaf nodes must have a value. Okay. So with self.assert raises, and this should raise a value error, and we should say node.to HTML. Why is it not picking up on the, I don't know why it's not picking up on the, we want to, what do we want to do? I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to open up NeoVim. I want to look at the LSP. I'm using Pyrite. Okay, so let's reload Pyrite. So let's do LSP NeoVim restart LSP. There we go. Okay, so that's obviously going to break when we run our tests. So we'll say test.sh. Missing 2 required positional arguments. Why are we not getting any? How do we help? What is it? Check health? So we have no LS touch, Pyrite's attached, which is good, but it doesn't seem like we're getting. Oh, there we go. Just need to make an edit. Okay, this is kind of an interesting design choice. Right? I don't know why boot.dev would have us design it this way, but it's interesting because they're saying if you call to HTML and the value is none, then we should raise a value error. So why would you design a class that allows you to well, I guess because we're in a dynamically typed language. So even if I typed this as stir, somebody could still force none into it, right? So you kind of have to, at runtime, you don't have any guarantee. But yeah, it just makes sense why you would set this to none, why you would type this as none, honestly. Because you would really want, if someone passed none, I would want diagnostics to complain about it. So I'm actually going to set this to this. Or no, I guess I shouldn't. I guess I should just follow what they're saying to do. Okay, so then if we rerun our test, the value error never got raised. So now what we should do is we should say if self.value is none, raise value error. And now it passes. Yeah, that makes sense, don't it? These dang dynamic languages masquerading with their type systems. They're non-enforceable types. Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's passed by users. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in C sharp, you would just your shit wouldn't compile if you tried to pass. Although in C sharp you can kind of get around that by using the bang operator. David Bailey, isn't it? Question. Nah. Already know what they're teaching. Education at its finest. The education system at its finest. Good times, good times. Okay, so now we need to say if there is no tag, the value should be returned as raw text. Oh, interesting. Did I? Both value and tag data members should be required, even though the tag's value may be none. If there is no tag, otherwise it should render an HTML tag. Oh, because the underlying property can be, okay, so I guess this should be typed as none then, actually. And then over here we should say def test to HTML when no tag, it should return value. So then node equals leaf node. So that's none. And we'll do hello chat. And then we'll do results equals node dot to HTML. And then self dot assert. Results is hello chat. Cool. That fails. And then we'll say if self.tag is none, return self value. Look at us. I'm going to put some more water on real quick and then we're just going to keep powering through this. See you, Victor. Have a good day, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate people who come back. I never really thought I would have a group of people who would visit my stream regularly, but thank you all who come and stop in and say hi. It's nice to have some familiar faces. I'm gonna go put some water on the coffee pots. I'll be right back. All right, sorry that took a little longer. I had to make coffee, use the restroom, but I'm back. All right, here we are. Also, I forgot to plug in my phone. Okay. So if there is a tag, then we will render this. We'll say, give me the tag in some brackets. Give me the value. And we'll just so like that. Okay. When tag in value, it should return HTML tag. So then we'll do this. We'll say expected is going to be tag is going to be an H1. Expected is going to be see value. It's hello chat, and then this is going to be formatted string that resembles much of what this is, aside from self. What is it? How do you delete a word? Is it DW? DW? I don't know. Can't remember that. Okay. All right, and then what do we do next? We need to add a representation method. It should be similar to HTML nodes, but doesn't include children in the string. Okay, so let's go to HTML node. Let's grab this guy. Go back over here to our leaf node. Paste that there. Change this to leaf node. We don't want the children. Now let's go ahead and grab the test from the HTML node. Let's leave node. Up there. We don't need children. This is going to be leaf node. Wonderful. Wonderful. I think we have it working. Let's submit it. Success. I kind of want to, I've never really done this before. Let's do split down. And let's make this a little smaller. Control Alt. Let's see, resize. Pane down. Alt Shift down. Alt Shift. There we go. I think that's a little better of a setup. That way I don't have to switch tabs every time. Let's go into CD Tolkien Fan Club. Make this a little bigger. And then let's do, what do we want to do here? We want to source the activation. There you go. Now we're in the same environment. Success. Hey, yo, T-Mux. It's kind of, I mean, it's not T-Mux, but it's, I guess it's kind of like what y'all like about T-Mux. So, now what are we doing? Now we have to build a parent node. My Apple Watch is telling me I need to stand. Okay. I did what the machine told me to do. Alright, our new parent node class will handle the nesting HTML nodes inside one of another. Any HTML node that's not a leaf node is a parent node. Okay. Def test something. And then we'll do class parent node. Parent node inherits from HTML node. Okay, the tag and children arguments are not optional. It doesn't take a value argument. Props is optional. Huh. I think I need to go back and relook at some of my constructor methods because I don't think I'm using type hinting to enforce requiredness, and I probably should have some actual checks for that. to create another child class of HTML node called parent node. So we want to define self, whoops. Okay, so we need to bring in this guy. So tag is required, so we shouldn't even type it as none. Same thing with children. Non-default, oh, yep. Okay, and then we should say, we really should say if tag is none. What's the right exception to raise here? Correct error in Python to raise when given invalid arguments. A value error or a type error? Okay, so we'll say value error. So raise value error. Tag is required. Type analysis indicates code is unreachable. Yeah, see, but this is kind of misleading because type it's not really it's not really enforced. So that's kind of that's interesting because it's almost like the diagnostics is leading me to remove that. That's interesting. Does this diagnostic have a number? It does not. Type analysis. The diagnostic method means your type checker, such as Pyrite, has mathematically proven that a block of code will never execute based on your type definitions. Yeah. Oh, that doesn't work. Does it work? Yeah, that doesn't work. Interesting. Interesting. Pyrite. Disable warning. A Pyrite ignore. That doesn't work either. I wonder if that's actually... Who else? What else is attached to this? LSP. Neovim. How to see which LSPs are attached. I don't think LSP info exists anymore, does it? Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. So I guess we need to do check health vim.lsp. So it could be null ls, but more than likely it's pyrite. Well, in any case, I know it's possible that someone could shove none in there, so if length of children equals 0, or children is none, raise value area. Parent node must have at least one child. Cool. So then we should probably add, we should have added test for this. This should be test constructor when tag is none, it should raise value error. So tag, so somebody, this is where somebody could force none in here, even though it's going to complain. Let's see. What was that command that I ran? Python typecasting.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Sorry that was a little loud. I had my volume turned up. Apologies. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Okay, can I do this? Excuse me. Let's see. Let's see. H. Leaf. No. Oh, yep. This needs to be a list of HTML nodes. Oh, whoops. That's not where I wanted to go. File not in change. Change, no. Okay, why are you complaining? I don't understand this error. Argument of type list HTML node cannot be assigned to a parameter of type children. Self at parent node. The type parameter at is invariant, but HTML node is not the same as self. Consider switching from list to sequence, which is covariant. I don't understand this error. Is that because I need to type this instead of self? This needs to be HTML node, but I don't think I can do that. So what did they tell me to type it as? Hey, what's up, Duck Boy? Good to see you. We are indeed back at it again. Where are we? We are currently building a static site generator. We're on that course. We're at level 58 is where we're at. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see. Can you help me with this diagnostic? Has something to do with the way I've typed the parent class. You should do your today lessons. Do them. Sit down right now. Grab yourself a nice, warm, cozy beverage like coffee or tea and get to work. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Gemini is not helping, so let's give it some more context. This is parent node. This is HTML node. There's some way I need to type the children differently so that the... Oh, whoops, my bad. Here's my HTML node. I always forget to copy to the clipboard. There's HTML node. There's parent node. Oh man, really? So this can stay as self, but this is the dynamic language masquerading. So this screws up the inheritance because self, when inherited down at the parent, self at the parent it means HTML node. Self at the deriving class means parent node. So they conflict. So this actually needs to be HTML node, but I have to put it in a string. Is there any way to do this without a string? kind of annoying. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to get hung up on it. I want to get hung up on it, but I'm not going to. Okay, back to the parent node. This is Old Town Road, but lo-fi. That's definitely going to get me copyright striked. Okay, I got that. Okay, why are you still complaining? Type list leaf node cannot be assigned to parameter children of type. Oh, yep. This should be HTML. Sorry. So then when we say with self dot raises value error node dot okay, let's see if that passes our test. Oh, I don't need to keep switching tabs anymore. Test. And obviously I can't see the output very well because it's so small. But it did value error not raised because we casted this. Okay, how do I'm writing Python. I have a parameter typed as stir, but I know at runtime someone could actually give me a none value. I have checks to handle this and want to write a test passing none, but want to avoid diagnostic check. Is there a way to cast none to stir? Oh, okay. So there does exist something like that. So we can say cast. It's going to be a hard habit to break. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So now we'll do the same thing, and we'll do it for children. When children is none. So now instead of that, we'll do, I guess this is, what is this, is a tag? And then we'll do cast list of HTML node. We'll cast that to none. Okay. Class test. Oops. Nope. We don't need another class. We need another test. So test constructor when children is empty. So if we were just to say like this, how do I continually run. Oh, cool. So let's get this copy. Unable to locate watch exec. Simple Unix utility event notify test runner. Okay. Watch exec for Ubuntu. Still unable to locate it, huh? Let's try doing it with cargo. I basically just want a way to run the test script continually every time a file changes instead of me having to manually change it all the time. Or not manually change it, manually run it. This video is definitely going to get copyright striked. Now we must wait for Rust to do its thing. It may crash my computer with as much as I have going on. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to do watch exec -pi, and then we're going to say I want you to run test.sh, and then I'm going to Alt-Shift, make this a little bigger. Now let's make sure this works. Perfect. Just what I was looking for. Hypo said, hey, what's up? Hey, Steven, since you are into the tech industry, I want to ask how to enter it. Like, I know back in development, have some projects built, but not getting any appropriate opportunity. So, I mean, obviously, I know everyone's situation is different. So first and foremost, I just want to say my experience in the world is n equals 1. And so I know everyone's situation is different. circumstances, environment, demographics, all that stuff. So just kind of take my answer with a grain of salt. But in my experience and with speaking with other people, your network is by and large usually the thing that leads to the best opportunities or the highest likelihood of opportunities. It's kind of like if you work in sales, you're more likely to be able to sell a product to a warm lead than a cold lead, right? So, like, if you show up for an interview and you've had somebody recommend you and somebody vouched for you, it's more likely that that's going to pan out to be a success than a failure than coming in cold, right? So that's where I would encourage you, first and foremost, if you haven't already, start trying to lay the groundwork of some networking within the field that you want to work in. Whether that be inline or online or in person. And so then so then the question, well, what does that mean in like actual action? It means going to stand-ups, attending conferences, being friendly, being interested, and genuinely trying to build relationships, not with the express intention of leveraging those relationships for work, but building relationships with people who are in that field and establishing yourself as a known entity. So conferences and meetups, but then also friends and family, right? Introduce yourself, ask what they do, share what you do. That's really like your network is valuable and you should invest into it. Now, granted, if you need a job right now, networking isn't super helpful in a lot of ways because networking takes time and you have to build relationships over time. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You should start. The best time to start networking was yesterday, which means the second best time is today. Right? It's kind of like it's the same thing with investing. Networking is like investing. It's all about the long-term compound return. Okay, then the second thing I would say is it just requires a lot of enthusiasm and persistence. So you're going to have to apply for a lot of jobs over a long period of time and get rejected a bunch. And eventually, though, somebody's going to give you a shot, right? So try to network with people that are in your industry or related to it in some way. Second, be persistent. Find jobs you think are interesting or sound interesting and apply. The third thing I would recommend is don't be afraid to apply for or look at jobs that are related to the job you want, but maybe that your background, your current background or current skill set speaks better to. So what's an example of this? An example of this would be I would be a good example of this. The way I got into tech was I parlayed my experience as a project manager and a food scientist into getting a job as a support analyst. I did not want to work in support for a career. I knew that, but I knew I wanted to work in technology. So that was what's the right term? Non-ideal position, but it kind of allowed me to stick my foot in the door and just kind of hold the door open. And then once you're in the door, now you can start thinking about, okay, how do I move closer to the ideal job, whether that be software development or project manager, designer, whatever it is that you want to do in technology. Like what's the next step, right? It's almost like taking an approach of like breaking a problem down. Like maybe you can't go from I work as a chef to a software developer, although I'm sure that's happened. But maybe you can go from working as a chef to being, I don't know, a salesperson or a customer success manager or any number of other positions that sort of get your foot in the door at a company or in the tech sphere. and then you can start to prove yourself capable of doing other jobs. And that's also kind of another form of networking too, because once your foot's in the door, you can start establishing a name and reputation for yourself. Maybe you can get friendly with the engineering manager or the people who are in charge of product or whoever, and you can start, hey, I'm interested too. If you ever have opportunities, I'd love to work on projects. I'd even be able to, go above and beyond and use some of my spare time to help contribute to those things. So those are my initial thoughts. Like, granted, I get it. Everybody's different. Everybody's situation's different, but that's kind of largely what's worked for me over the last 15 years or 17 years of working. People start networking when they need a job. It doesn't always look good when you are only hitting people up because you want something. Exactly. Yes, exactly. You don't want to network with the express intention of leveraging relationships. You want to build genuine friendships and relationships with people. The idea is you're sort of I don't know who I heard this from, but the idea is you're basically trying to increase the surface area for opportunity, right? The more people you know, and the more people who know about you and what you do, the larger the surface area that something good might come your way. It is kind of interesting, though. I think meetups in the tech industry have kind of gotten hollowed out a bit because of this advice. So if you go to meetups, you'll oftentimes find that a lot of people there, like the overwhelming majority of people there, are looking for a job. Like, they're there with the express intent of trying to use this advice. I think that kind of turns some people off. But I think the one thing to remember is that even if you're at a meetup, and let's say you're at a meetup and 75% of the people there are unemployed and 25% are. Over the course of time, a group of those 75% that are unemployed are eventually going to get jobs. Like, it's just math. They're going to get jobs. So you're still increasing that surface area of luck, of opportunity, by being in the room. Even if the person you're talking to isn't, employed or in your eyes might not have anything to offer you, in the sense that, like, they're in the same boat you are, you should still treat that as a meaningful connection and a meaningful potential relationship, because again, we just don't know where we're all gonna end up, right? Like, we don't know who's gonna become what person at what company. So you should treat all the connections and all the relationships you get as valuable and potential, and have lots and lots of potential in them. So yeah, don't network with the express intent of leveraging it, but network knowing that it's going to pay dividends, right? It's like putting $100 in your 401k every month, or $200 in your 401k every month. It feels like it's useless. It's not meaningful. I get it. It feels like, oh, I met this person one time. We had one conversation. God, what a waste of time, right? But it's the compounding effect of that over time that leads to the magic. Duckboy, industry connections are your best bet. If you have people working in the field to get in touch with you, you're having better leverage than me. Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is a connections thing. I mean, you can get interviews cold. I'm not going to say you can't get jobs cold. I think a lot of us probably have crazy stories of, like, that one time where we randomly applied to some random ad and, some weird thing happened, right? But if we're talking about, like, how do we optimize or how do we increase our probability of success, those are the things I would probably focus on. Network, persistence and enthusiasm. You can't not be looking and complaining about not getting a job. And then, what was the third thing I said? I forgot my advice already. The third thing I said was, don't be afraid to take jobs that get you in the door, even if it's not the ideal job. That was the other thing. I think it's good when you show a genuine interest in technology. Like, even if you're not working, I like to see people who are still working on interesting stuff. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Hey, what's up, Kale? Time for work? Ah, yes, 7:15. I could probably go for another hour, but I think my wife wants to leave. We're driving to my hometown in Joplin, Missouri, and I think my wife wants to leave by 9, I think she said. So I probably should wrap up. Let me see. She said we're planning to leave Friday morning around 9ish. Okay, I'll finish. I'm gonna finish this lesson, and then I probably should wrap up. Let's see. So it's optional. Add a to HTML method. Def to HTML. Self. This returns a string. Okay. Def test to HTML. If the object doesn't have a tag, raise a value error. When no tag, it should raise value error. Also, Hype said, I hope that was helpful if you're still here. Maybe it wasn't helpful, but it was a long soliloquy. I am working today. I'll probably work from the car. Yeah. I didn't take any time off, but I'll work in the car as we're on our way down there. I mean, that's one of the blessings of my job is they're pretty, I mean, I shouldn't say they're chill. I should just say they treat us like we're adults. You know, they treat us like, hey, you work here, you know, you have responsibilities, you know, you have people counting on you, and we expect you to fulfill those responsibilities and get the work done, but we're not going to micromanage your time, you know. And luckily, everybody at the company has been very responsible about not ruining it for everybody. You know, not ruining that for people. You know, we haven't hired anybody who's been disrespectful or what is the right word? We haven't hired anybody who has abused that privilege or that trust, which has been good. Do I like Python? I don't care for Python Minister of Defense, but I'm writing it because that's what boot.dev provides. You know what I mean? So it's not that I dislike it, but if you gave me a choice, you said, hey, you can write Python or you can write these other things, I would probably choose the other things. It's a holiday weekend. A lot of people have off today. Yeah, a lot of people probably did take off today. I did not, but I bet a lot of people are not working. Let's do leaf node. Okay, and then we are going to do with node.toHTML value error not raised, which is what we want to see, and then we'll say if self.tag is none, raise a value error. Oh, this has to be cast. Okay, tag is required. What doesn't it like? Oh, is it because that is... I see. Okay, so assert. There we go. I actually have an interview that was Python related. Not going to lie, I was pretty disgusted. Ew. Hey, what's up, caffeinated minds? I am a caffeinated mind. Python is awful. I love it. You know, some of us like to suffer. You know, that's the thing. I worked with Python hardcore for years, but I've been a Go dev for a decade, so having to come back to it repulsed me. I can see going from Go to Python to be off-putting. Yeah. I don't mind Python. It does the job really well in infra work. Interesting. Yeah, I don't do a lot of that work, but I think I would rather write most things than Python. Um, but it's not like a genuine dislike of it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not that I don't like it. Um, it's just that I would rather write TypeScript, for example, over Python. And to me, they're both like when you're sitting there and you're thinking Python, TypeScript. It's like both require you to install either Node or Python, right? You've got to have both require some dependency to be installed other than just having an operating system. Um, both are dynamic in a way, right? Both can have typing in a way. You know what I mean? Like I don't see a huge um, reason why you couldn't everywhere you use Python in place of it use TypeScript. Unless you're doing stuff like unless you're doing stuff like machine learning, scientific computing, things that you know Python has many years right of development that don't exist anywhere else, right? That I guess that would be a reason. That gaming farming coming out of me. I love C++. It's so difficult. It takes too long to make anything, but the grind is fun. I don't know. This idea of something taking too long to make, I don't know. I don't know where that came from. That's kind of a new AI thing, in my opinion. I mean, work constraints aside, right? Like stakeholder, like business stuff aside, this idea that things take too long to make. I mean, if you enjoyed making it and what you made, you enjoy or other people enjoy, like so be it, right? Yeah. I think it's good, man. If you like C++ and building games and stuff, I say do it. Life's too short, you know? Speaking of infra work, I've been hearing of Swift in infra lately. Interesting. I thought Swift was just used to build Mac OS apps and or iPad and iPhone apps. Standard library is a little more convenient for basic infra scripts, easier to get things done in Python versus TS, but yeah, no types. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't do any of this infra work that you guys refer to, so y'all would know better on that than me. Yeah, that's interesting. Swift for infrastructure. Hmm. Okay. And now we need to say test HTML when tag. When no tag, it should raise error. When children is missing. When no children. So I guess I just need to remove these. And put these here. Because looks like he's doing all the validation outside the constructor and the method itself, which is, I guess, fine. So let's do this one. We'll say when no children, or when children is empty. Like that. And then we can remove these constructor tests. Okay, and then we can just add a check here that says if self dot children is none, or the length of self dot children equals 0, raise value. Now we're passing. Okay, and then they've got a test case here. Def test to HTML when tag and children, it should return HTML. So they gave us a nice test case to work with here. Oops. And then we can say self.assert equals results and then expected. And I'll go ahead and add expected right here. It's going to be a string that looks like this. Oops. Copied the wrong thing. Now that should fail. Now we need to implement that. I've never used Eclipse. I've heard of it, but I've never used it. I've also never used Xcode either. SaltStack is low-key to Infrago. I've never even heard of SaltStack. Oh, I didn't know Ansible is Python-based. I've never used Ansible. Okay, let's do. So what we should be able to do is we should be able to do HTML. We should be able to say for I for child. Well, don't we have to recurse? Okay, so let's do HTML, and then HTML starts with HTML.append. Sorry. For child in self.children. We just HTML.append child.toHTML. And then join it. However, children could have children, right? So this is where I don't think the implementation is actually that complete at this point. Let's add, they have a couple additional test cases for us. Let's add those in. Okay, those all pass. I think we're missing something in here. In the HTML rendering. We're not handling props at all either. So we're gonna have to come back and refactor this at some point. Okay. Now let's submit our test. Or submit our code and see if it passes. No! Let's see, what happened? Test HSH not. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. Damn it. I was just in the wrong directory. Good thing I had some armor. Bash, Python, and Go. Sounds like you have some good days at work there, Caffeinated Minds. Do I use Lazy Vim? I use Lazy the package manager. Hearing children can have children makes me think us devs need to have a translator nearby every time we go out. Yeah. I always think of whenever I'm talking to people about like, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like pseudo technical stuff, but whenever you're talking to people about stuff that's kind of like in the weeds, you know, I always feel like this person. This is the image that comes to mind every time. Oh shoot. If I could get it to this one. That's how I feel like when like when I've been heads down on a problem for like, you know, an hour, a couple hours and I'm just really in it and I'm really struggling. Like this is how I felt during Advent of Code, you know. You're like talking and rambling to yourself and you're like, it just won't work. It just won't work. I don't understand. You know? So if somebody was listening to this conversation, they'd probably 96 hour hold me. All right. I think that's going to be enough, or at least that's all I'm going to have time for this morning. I got to go pack a bag and get ready for our departure. I will not be around this weekend, so I hope you guys have a good 4th of July, and I'll probably be back live again on Monday. I think but whenever I come back on Monday, I'm guessing I'm going to be learning C because I don't have very much left. I mean, I'll definitely finish the static site generator thing over the weekend. Yeah, I'll definitely finish this over the weekend. So yeah, when I show up on Monday, I might have just started this course or be deep into it. Learn memory management. And it's taught by TJ DeVries. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I hope you guys had a great 4th of July. If you're here in the United States and you're going to celebrate 4th of July, I hope you keep all your fingers and your toes. No trips to the ER. All right. See you, Duck Boy. See you, Caffeinated Minds. See you, Minister of Defense. Bye, Kale. Thanks for being a member, man. That was really kind of you to become a member. I'll try to come up with some other members content. I've been kind of on a little bit of a, what do you call it? Writer's block on creating videos. But I'll try to come up with some stuff. If you have any ideas of things that I could make that you'd be interested to see, I'd be happy to make them. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. Have a good day.